taking the time to come to the relaunch of Politics First magazine. I'm Daniel Kaczynski, the Member of Parliament for Shrewsbury, and I have certainly contributed to this magazine over the last few months and years. I have a huge amount of respect for Marcus Papadopoulos, the editor, who is very incisive, very hard-working, determined to encourage new MPs to contribute to the magazine, and wanting the broadest range of perspectives to be disseminated through this magazine. Many people are reading this magazine from outside Westminster and also overseas. We have had, historically, just an in-house magazine here in the House of Commons, which has had a sort of monopoly of reporting from members of Parliament and some of the issues that we're hoping to raise to the fore. So it's very good to have a competitor. And I have always found Marcus to be very assiduous and very determined to engage with all parliamentarians from all political parties. Our politics don't always match, but we always are able to engage and to try to work together in a constructive way. So I wanted to host this reception for Politics First because of my own experience of this magazine. Very grateful that you've come here this evening. Very pleased to see some fellow members of Parliament who have also come, who I know some of whom have also contributed to this magazine. And without further ado, I know that the MPs have to vote at 6:37. We have the division bell is going to ring and we have to go and vote. We will come back. Some of us will be coming back to take part in the reception. But without further ado, I'd like to invite my friend, esteemed colleague Marcus Papadopoulos, to address you. Thank you.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Politics First relaunch party. Can I first of all say how delighted I am to see so many of you here tonight for what is, after all, a very, very important event for Politics First. And can I say how grateful I am to all of you for having found the time to come here tonight. I know that all of you are very busy and your presence here is really very much appreciated by me, so thank you for that. As I said just now, the relaunch of Politics First is an important event for the magazine. Its new look, which makes it more clinical, more luminous, has enabled the magazine to become even more important as a vehicle for communication between the members of the House of Commons and the House of Lords, who are, of course, Politics First audience. And Politics First is very proud to be a non-partisan publication for the Houses of Parliament and is very proud to make a contribution to the policy-making process in the UK. Now, the fact that the relaunch of Politics First is occurring at what is an extraordinary time in UK politics is, believe it or not, a coincidence. It was about a year ago when I decided that the magazine would be redesigned and relaunched towards the end of 2016. However, I never imagined that 1 year ago the magazine's relaunch would be against the backdrop of British politics finding itself in the most unpredictable, unstable state since the Second World War as a result of Brexit. Indeed, the only certainty at the moment at Westminster is uncertainty. But the fact that the relaunch is occurring at this uncertain time is actually fortuitous for Politics First, because it presents an opportunity for the magazine to carry leading editorial pieces which address the huge challenges and uncertainties that the UK is experiencing today. And that is an opportunity which Politics First will graciously take. I would also like to say that while the look of Politics First has been completely overhauled from beginning to end, what hasn't changed is the editorial, which remains committed to my conviction that politics is serious and should therefore be covered in a serious manner. Politics First is not about egos, lifestyles and fancy photos. It is about content, serious content. So I hope that you enjoy the new look Politics First, and I hope you enjoy reading the current edition and all future editions too. The magazine would not be anything without you, its writers, and without you, its audience. Before I hand over to tonight's sponsors, Stuart J. Green Digital Engineering, who is a leading specialist in cybersecurity, there's a few thank yous I would like to say. Firstly, thank you very much to Daniel Kaczynski, MP, and thank you very much to Peter Dowd, MP, Labour MP for Bootle, for having sponsored tonight. And thank you also to Mark Oates and Hugh Critchley in Daniel Kaczynski's office for having assisted and for having sent out the invites to parliamentarians. Second, thank you to Government Knowledge, and in particular Sheila Baxter, for having organised this relaunch. Government Knowledge is a first-class political events company, and I think we would all agree that tonight demonstrates their professional stature. Third, thank you to Jonathan Allinson, Politics First's new design and production manager, who has entirely redesigned the magazine on his own, and who, I'm sure we would all agree, has done an outstanding job, so thank you to Jonathan. Fourth, thank you to MPs, peers and journalists, and I can see my diary page, Nigel Nelson here, who I believe is still the longest serving political editor in the press gallery.
So far.
Thank you for your articles and for your interviews. As I said earlier, Politics First is your magazine, and without your input, it would be nothing. And finally, thank you again to all of you tonight for your attendance and for helping tonight and for helping to make tonight so pleasurable and memorable. I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. For those MPs who have to leave, I hope I can see you later on. And to everyone else, I hope to look forward to working with yourselves on the new look Politics First. And of course, I wouldn't be an editor if I didn't say this. Any ideas for articles, you know where I am. And I just want to repeat finally one of the thank yous I just made, because I've just seen him arrive. Jonathan Allinson in the corner, drove down from Liverpool today. This gentleman is responsible for the new look of Politics First, and as I said, Jonathan, you've done a fantastic job. The feedback has been great, so thank you very much for that. Thank you very much again to everyone here, and over to Stuart J. from Cyber Security Engineering.